Hello and welcome back to those of you that are returning. Today we'll be reading Matthew chapter 8. I'm reading from the NLT, the New Living Translation. Let's dive right in. Matthew chapter 8. Large crowds followed Jesus as he came down the mountains. Suddenly, a man with leprosy approached Jesus. He knelt before him, worshiping. "Lord," the man said, "if you want to, you can make me well again." Jesus touched him. "I want to," he said. "Be healed." And instantly the leprosy disappeared. Then Jesus said to him, "Go right over to the priest and let him examine you. Don't talk to anyone along the way. Take along an offering required in the law of Moses for those who have been healed of leprosy, so everyone will have proof of your healing." When Jesus arrived at Capernaum, a Roman officer came and pleaded with him, "Lord, my young servant lies in bed, paralyzed and racked with pain." Jesus said, "I will come and heal him." Then the officer said, "Lord, I am not worthy to have you come into my home. Just say the word from where you are, and my servant will be healed. I know, because I am under the authority of my superior officers, and I have authority over my soldiers. I only need to say, 'Go,' and they go, or 'Come,' and they come. And if I say to my slaves, 'Do this or that,' they do it." When Jesus heard this, he was amazed. Turning to the crowd, he said, "I tell you the truth, I haven't seen faith like this in all the land of Israel. And I tell you this, that many Gentiles will come from all over the world and sit down with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and the feast of the kingdom of heaven. But many Israelites, those whom the kingdom was prepared, will be cast into the darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth." So that one's pretty important here. For one, he is confirming the fact that now the Gentiles are going to be coming and have access to heaven and stuff like that, to God. Also, you have to kind of listen to truly the faith of this Roman officer, right? So many people throughout the Bible, when Jesus did miracles or anything like that, they would come watch him, but they mainly would come to just see the miracles, right? Because they wanted to see a show. This Roman officer had so much faith that he's like, "God, Jesus, you don't even have to come with me. You don't even have to come and step foot into my home. I know you have the power. I have faith enough that you have the power to heal my servant," right? And he said this, right? "I have superior officers and I have soldiers underneath me. If they tell me to do something, I do it. If I tell my soldiers to do something, they do it. So I know you have the power to do it." That's why Jesus was so amazed about this Roman officer's faith, when so many Israelites and Jews would come and try to be like, "I want to see a miracle like Jesus, come on, put on the show," right? Anyways, let's continue. Then Jesus said to the Roman officer, "Go on home. What you have believed has happened." And the young servant was healed that same hour. Jesus heals many people. When Jesus arrived at Peter's house, Peter's mother-in-law was in bed with a high fever. But when Jesus touched her hand, the fever left her. Then she got up and prepared a meal for him. That evening, many demon-possessed people were brought to Jesus. All the spirits fled when he commanded them to leave, and he healed all the sick. This fulfilled the word of the Lord through Isaiah, who said, "He took our sickness and removed our diseases." The cost of following Jesus. When Jesus noticed how large the crowd was growing, he instructed his disciples to cross to the other side of the lake. Then one of the teachers of religious law said to him, "Teacher, I will follow you no matter where you go." But Jesus said, "Foxes have dens to live in, and birds have nests, but I, the Son of Man, have no home of my own, not even a place to lay my head." Another of his disciples said, "Lord, first let me return home and bury my father." But Jesus told him, "Follow me now. Let those who are spiritually dead care for their own dead." So that's you will hear that a lot, especially if you start to get into Christian circles and stuff like that, getting Christian friends, right? To let those that are spiritually dead take care of their spiritually dead. I don't really know exactly how to break that down too much in the way of explaining it, but pretty much Jesus is saying, if you're going to follow me, you have to leave all the worldly things behind, right? Just come on, follow me, do what I'm telling you to do what I do, right? And everything that's of this world, or everything that's spiritually dead, leave that to take care of its own, right? You come and follow me. Jesus calms the storm. Then Jesus got into the boat and started across the lake with his disciples. Suddenly a terrible storm came up, with waves breaking into the boat, but Jesus was sleeping. The disciples went to him and woke him up, shouting, "Lord, save us, we're going to drown." And Jesus answered, "Why are you afraid? You have so little faith." Then he stood up and rebuked the wind and waves, and suddenly all was calm. The disciples just sat there in awe. "Who is this?" they asked themselves. "Even the wind and the waves obey him." Jesus heals 2 demon-possessed men. When Jesus arrived on the other side of the lake in the land of Gadarenes, 2 men who were possessed by a demon met him. They lived in a cemetery and were so dangerous that no one could go through that area. They began screaming at him, "Why are you bothering us, Son of God? You have no right to torture us before God's appointed time." A large herd of pigs was feeding in the distance, so the demons begged, "If you cast us out, send us into that herd of pigs." "All right, go," Jesus commanded them. So the demons came out of the men and entered the pigs, and the whole herd plunged down the steep hillside into the lake and drowned in the water. The herdsmen fled to the nearby city, telling everyone what happened to the demon-possessed men. The entire town came out to meet Jesus, but they begged him to go away and leave them alone. So this story right here, I mentioned about it either last chapter or a couple of chapters ago, saying that people that just say that I believe, right, I believe in Jesus, I believe in God, but they don't obey the Father, they don't follow any of the Christian or any of Jesus' teachings, right? Here you can see clearly that these demon-possessed guys, they ran up to Jesus, and in some other translations and some other books, it's just one, right? And when he asked them their name, the demons say, "We're a legion, for we are many." So there was a bunch of demons inside this one person, right? But in here, it's 2 people, and he cast them out into the pigs, right? So they knew exactly who he was. They believed in him. They knew who he was. They ran up to him. He didn't have to approach them. They ran up to him and begged him to send us away into those pigs instead of torturing us for the judging us, before because it's not quite the time yet. And Jesus said, "All right, go." So when people say that, yes, I believe in Jesus and I believe in God, what you're saying at that point is you have to understand, when you truly, truly believe in Jesus, and when you accept it in your heart, and when you proclaim it with your mouth, and you believe in your heart that Jesus is God, and he came down to earth, and he died for our sins, and then 3 days later he was resurrected, and you confess it with your mouth, what you're admitting is that, for one, there is a God, that the Bible is correct. So you're saying that God is real, he created everything, and everything in this book is correct. And that, for some reason, does not make you just want to fall down on your knees and start praying and start wanting to read this more and understand exactly what it's saying and how for you to live your life. Like, that's craziness to me, right? Once you truly admit, and once you say that you truly believe, then in my mind, I don't understand how people can just go on living and continue to living in sin. If you truly believe, there is no way, in my opinion, that you'll be able to turn back to the worldly things and try to do that. I'm not saying that temptations are not going to come. I'm not saying that it's going to be an easy ride. It's not. But something has to fundamentally change in you once you truly say that you believe, right? That's why Jesus was saying in the previous chapter, "On judgment day, many will tell me, 'Lord, Lord, we prophesied in your name, and cast out demons in your name, and performed many miracles in your name.' But I will reply, 'I never knew you. Go away. The things you did were unauthorized,'" right? And this is in chapter 7, I'm going to start from 21. So verse 21, "Not all people who sound religious are really godly. They may refer to me as Lord, but they still won't enter the kingdom of heaven. The decisive issue is whether they obey my Father in heaven." So if you truly say that you believe that there is a God, he created all of us, he created this whole entire universe, he is in control, and then you're just going to be like, "Meh, I don't care. I'm going to go do my own thing." That's, but you're just like, "Yeah, I believe in God. I believe in, Lord, Lord, we did all these things for you." But they don't truly believe. So that's kind of like the point that I wanted to hit on. Sorry that took a little bit longer. But yes, guys, please, 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 Start reading. This is why I'm doing this, so that some people that maybe don't have time or maybe want to find, maybe don't understand the Bible that well, you know, listen to me or find other people talk about the Bible, listen to passages, right? But get into the Word, you guys. Get into the Word. Start studying it. Start reading it, because it's super important, right? Anyways, I love you guys. God bless you and your families. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you on chapter 9. All right, take care.